Hey, what's going on, guys? Oh, just bumped into my camera. We're back today with another full self-driving video. I've just been driving all over the place this morning, through random neighborhoods, random cities and whatnot, just seeing how the car does, and so far it's doing great. We're currently on version 12.3.2.1, but I believe 12.3.3 is supposed to be coming out soon, which actually drops the beta moniker from the end of the name, so it will be full self-driving parentheses supervised. So anyway, not really sure what that update brings with it other than the name change, but definitely looking forward to getting it. I'll tell you, if you've been keeping up with things lately, you'll know that we've been getting a lot of updates. I'd gone from January 14th until about 2 weeks ago with almost no update, which was about a little bit over 2 months, I believe. And all of a sudden the updates are just rolling out left and right. And definitely noticeable improvements in each of them. So right now I'm in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I'm kind of back in like a, I don't want to call it a gated community, but it's kind of like a vacation resort area. Like I said, I've just been dropping random navigation pins, and this is where it brought me to. This is where it brought me to. So far today, I can't remember, I've probably driven well over 100 miles. And I don't think I've had a single safety critical disengagement. I have disengaged maybe once or twice, but usually it's because there's somebody, you know, right on my tail or trying to get around me, or somebody who I think is going to make a stupid move and cause a problem. But other than that, the car has been doing awesome. Speed control has been great. If you've watched my last couple videos, you'll know that one of the biggest things with version 12 that I've been having a problem with is the car's speed control. Usually it's going too slow, or it was originally going too slow on version 12, but my current version that I'm on, it's such a long number, 12.3.2.1, has been much better about speed control. Really haven't had the same problems. I would say it's 90% resolved from 12.3, which pretty much always was going too slow, like 5 to 10 miles per hour under the speed limit almost everywhere I went. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start this navigation route. We'll talk as we go. I'm going to delete some of these old ones off of here. As you can see, I've been going to a lot of different places today. I've also got a new camera angle going on. I'm actually filming in 4K today. Haven't done this before, and the camera angle's not quite as wide. But I'm hoping that the quality comes out a little bit better. But let's go ahead and get on the road. We're going to start out with a roundabout. I've been through 2 of them today. We're not really going around the roundabout. We're pretty much going to get on it and directly back off. But I've been through a couple of them today. We don't really have a lot of roundabouts in this area of Virginia. So I do struggle to find them and test them out. But so far, they've been doing great. So the first one that we come up to has a little stop sign, which is actually a kind of abnormal stop sign. It's not, looks like it's made out of wood, but the car did the right thing and stopped for it. We're proceeding through the roundabout. It did that perfectly. So I think we got about a mile before we get out of this, I think it's called a golf resort. So I think the speed limit through here is all 25, but the car is doing a very reasonable speed right now. And like I said, pretty much all day long, the speed control has been good. I don't really have too many complaints on 12.3.2.1. Biggest complaint is how long it takes to say the version name, way too many numbers. But real complaints, it's basically 3 things. Lane selection and hesitation turning into lanes is 2 of them. So sometimes when you're changing lanes at low speed, or you're changing lanes into a turn lane, there's a little bit of hesitation where the car kind of goes back and forth between the straight lane and the turn lane. But it does eventually get into the correct lane most times. I just imagine it's kind of confusing to anybody behind you, and if anybody behind you is already trying to get around you and they're being impatient, it is kind of troublesome there. The lane selection itself is a little bit separate issue. Sometimes it just, honestly, I think this is more of a map data problem, where the GPS or the you know, whatever map data it's using is telling it what lane it needs to be in, and sometimes I don't think that's always correct. But I might be wrong about that too. I'm not 100% sure how that whole system works. But yeah, sometimes I find it in weird lanes, or it waits too long to get into a lane. So like if we've got like a left-hand turn coming up and it's in the right lane and needs to get over, sometimes it just waits until like 0.2 of a mile and then it'll come over. But honestly, these are pretty minor complaints and they don't happen very often. It's funny with these newer videos, you're like looking for something to say that it needs to improve on, but for the most part, it's I'm not going to use the word perfect, but it's getting close to it. So like I said, right now we're going to, I'm not really even familiar with this area. I'm just kind of picking random destinations and letting the car drive to them. Probably do a couple of these and we'll just kind of talk as we go and see how the car does. I'm hoping in the direction that we're going, we'll go back through a roundabout again and that we'll get a little bit of traffic. Last time, or last two that I've been through, didn't really have anybody to interact with, but nonetheless, the car did great. Version 11, the couple of roundabouts that I did go through, the car would get up to the yield sign and it would stop most of the time, even if there was no cars coming, which doesn't make people behind you very happy. But so far, this has been great. So the third and final complaint that I still have on version 12, and this is a huge improvement, is the speed control. I would say for me it's 95% resolved. Yep, we're going to be going through a roundabout in 1.3 miles. But the speed control is like 95% resolved. And I wouldn't expect it to be perfect either, because this is like a totally new method of controlling speed. With the computer deciding what speed to go everywhere, I do have it set to the auto offset. So it's not perfect yet, but it's very good right now in this version, and I would imagine it's only going to get better as it goes, because that's the main complaint that I'm seeing online, and I'm sure Tesla is really attacking that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much better that gets, but right now, 95% resolved for me. In version 12.3, if you're still running that, it was extremely frustrating for me. The amount of pedal interventions that I had was through the roof. I was pretty much pressing the pedal every 10 seconds just to get the car to go. But this version here is truly the first version that I've had that I'm having long distance, and when I say long distance, I mean like 20 minutes plus drives where I don't have any interventions whatsoever. The only thing I'm doing is wiggling the steering wheel from time to time to satisfy the steering wheel nag. So yeah, I'm going to shut up for a minute. I'm going to let the car drive, and if anything of note happens, I'll go ahead and talk about it, and if anything else comes into my mind, I'll talk about that. Get this bag out of the way. Making some noise. So we are coming up on the roundabout. I believe, yep, it's right here. Not seeing any traffic coming into it, but we do have some traffic around us, and the car's slowing down a little bit. Everything seems good so far. Okay, so once again, we didn't really go around the roundabout, but that was good. It felt great. Went through at a great speed. No complaints. Okay, I'm going to add another complaint to the complaint list. And I understand why it's doing this, but it is kind of frustrating. Is the car is extremely biased towards stopping at yellow lights. So right now, pretty much if you're not already in the intersection, it's going to stop. I understand that they're being cautious. They don't want the car to run red lights by mistake. And I'm sure it's going to get better with time. I'm sure it's something that's specific on their training list that they're going to work on. But yeah, right now, it's if there's a yellow light and it can stop for it, it's going to stop for it. Once again though, just understand that some of these complaints that I'm talking about, while they might be a complaint, a lot of the times it's very, very minor, and it's nothing compared to the complaints from version 11. Like, look at how smoothly it got onto this junction ramp and got over. It's speeding up great to get on this highway. I don't think this is an interstate. I think it's just a highway, but it is going back to the old software stack through here. So we've got 3.3 miles to go, and it'll get back off of this. I'm definitely looking forward to major updates to the highway software. It is very good, don't get me wrong, but you can certainly tell immediately when you're back on this. Like right now, that car's got its turn signal on, and you probably can't see it, but my car is kind of speeding up, slowing down. I think it's trying to let them over. It's a little bit confused, but really I just want, all right, they've turned their signal off, and now we're gonna go. So that's interesting. I've always kind of been curious how much attention the car pays to other people's turn signals. That made it very evident that the car pays attention, at least on the old software stack. It is paying attention to other people's turn signals. That was almost undeniable. And once again, you might not be able to even see it on the camera what it was doing, but if you watch the chevrons and you rewind, you'll see that the car was waiting for them to come over, or trying to let them come over. So that was actually pretty cool. I've been mainly on all my routes today trying to avoid getting on any kind of a highway that makes it switch back to this old software. There's hundreds of thousands of videos out there showing and demonstrating this. That's not to take away from how amazing it is, but it's not really the purpose of the videos I'm trying to get. I did have a really cool encounter earlier. Of course, I wasn't recording. I'd taken my camera down to let it cool down for 2 seconds, and this really cool thing happened, but there was like 2 or 3 small birds in the road, and usually, at least in version 11, really haven't had the had this type of interaction in version 12 yet, but in version 11, if there was birds in the road, small ones, it wasn't gonna pay any mind to them. It would plow right over them if it could. But version 12 actually slowed down for the birds that weren't getting out of the road, and then the second the car slowed down and the bird flew away, it sped back up and continued. So that was really cool to see. And it was exactly what I would have done in that situation, because I don't want to run a bird over. So we're back in the city now. Alright, you can kind of see the car switching back and forth for a second there, trying to figure out, alright, it's back on version 12. City stack again. Pouring some more water in my cup if you hear that. That's what that noise is. Well, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the car did a great job getting over in between 2 cars. It might not have made this BMW happy behind me, but you know how that goes. If you're not going 16,000 miles per hour, they're not going to be happy. The camera doesn't really show, but he is 2 feet off of my bumper at the max. Probably going to get a honk out of him. No honk. Okay. I was expecting the car to slam on the brakes for that yellow light, but it actually kind of eased and slowed down and then rolled through it, which felt good. It was a good compromise between trying to stop and then go, which it usually does for the yellow lights, or stops because obviously the light's turning red. We're signaling left right now, but I'm not really sure for what. Okay, it stopped. So far on this drive, 0 interventions. It's honestly pretty unbelievable. I was definitely, when I first got the car and first started using full self-driving, I really didn't believe that that this was going to be possible without radar on the car. You go online and you read in any article that's not written by Tesla or a Tesla fan, pretty much says that in order to achieve full autonomy, you're going to have, you know, 500 sensors all over the car, and it was very discouraging to read all of that. And then that mixed with how the car drove at the time, which wasn't good. You know, it could get places, but it didn't feel good. it was very discouraging, but pretty much all of that doubt is gone in my mind. I'm having more and more drives where I'm not doing anything. I didn't even have that 1 month ago, so within 2 software updates, it's that big of a difference to where I'm not having to hardly do anything. And also, I don't live in California. We're in Virginia right now, and it was normal for me to watch videos in California of people having these zero intervention drives, but it was not the same feeling over here in Virginia, and now it is. It's truly incredible how good this is doing. So this is an interesting turn because it's kind of a blind curve coming towards us. Car starts turning, it saw a car coming, kind of got on the accelerator and moved a little bit. The car did, not me. That was awesome. So we're about 1.8 miles away from the destination that I set, and so far I have not had to do a thing. So see, on previous versions, something like that SUV pulling out in front of us would have caused a big problem. Version 11 would have slammed on the brakes. Every version of version 11 that I had would have slammed on the brakes for that. Version 12 just doesn't seem to be phased. Tight road encounters with oncoming cars, the car used to slam on the brakes. It's pretty much fixed. I can certainly count on one hand. I can only remember 2 instances right now where version 12 has slammed the brakes, other than for yellow lights. It definitely does. Like I said before, it's gonna stop for a yellow light unless you're already in the intersection. But yeah, other than that, it's hardly any brake slamming, no phantom braking, which I really believed in the beginning that the phantom braking, which is when the car brakes for no apparent reason, you'll be on like a totally open road and the car will just slam the brakes. I definitely always believed that the only way you would get around that is with a radar that could for sure tell you that there's no obstacles in front of you. But I've driven easily over 1,000 miles on. All right, so this guy's waving us around him. Is the car gonna go around? I'm gonna disengage to go around him. I don't want to make that awkward. I think the car would have figured it out eventually, but I think something else that may have been throwing it off there is he's pulled over to the right of the road, but he's got his turn signal for to the left on. I did not want him to think I was going to rear end him there. Okay, I'm not sure where we're going right now, and if this is going to bring us off-road, I'm going to go ahead and turn around because I just washed the car and I don't want it to get super dirty. Yeah, this is going to bring us off-road. So I'm going to make a 3-point turn real quick. Oh, actually, no, this was our no, I don't know where the heck we are. Okay, let me see. Oh, when I disengaged back there, we missed a left-hand or a right-hand turn. Okay. Well, we would have made it to that destination. Pretty much intervention-free there. Now, obviously, I did disengage to go around that truck in the road. So I'm not going to say that was a perfect drive. In a perfect world, the car would have gone around that truck, but I do understand some of the confusion there. Now, something else that I'm interested to see how it improves over time. He had his hand out the window and he was waving for us to go. And that's something that a human can easily see. But clearly isn't as easy for the... I don't want to say isn't as easy, but the car doesn't currently do as well. So I've set another destination. It's 5 miles away. 12 minutes. It's kind of boring. It's just like a straight drive. Let's pick something a little bit more challenging. I don't want to get on the interstate though. Let's go here. Let's see what this looks like. All right, 7.1 miles, 15-minute drive. Let's see how we do. All right, so we've got a person walking up here in the road. All right, we're kind of speeding up and slowing down right now. Not sure if the car is just trying to figure out what's going on or what. But we got a guy walking in the road up here. The guy with the trailer is backing into a driveway. I think he's got it in there now though, so we don't have to worry about that. The car is doing a good job of offsetting for this guy, going totally into the left lane, which I love. That feels great, exactly what I would do. And now we're moving. Now the speed limit here is 35. We are going a little bit slow, but I've got a feeling here in a moment it's going to speed up. Sometimes it almost seems like it's looking for a speed limit sign to validate what's already on the screen. Like if you engage and you haven't passed a speed limit sign for the road that you're on, or if a road looks like it would have a speed limit that's lower than what it actually is, it definitely seems like sometimes it waits to see a speed limit sign and then it will go up to that speed limit, like it's looking for validation. So we have sped up a little bit right now. We're doing a comfortable speed. Alright, and we're speeding up a little bit above 35 right now, and the speed limit is 35. Kind of slowing down again. I'll bet you when we pass a speed limit sign though, it'll smooth out and start going the right speed. Okay, it seems like we're going good now. 39. Feels good. Yeah, we're doing a very comfortable 5 over right now. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not familiar with the area that we're in whatsoever, which I always kind of find fun because I like to see how I would do something versus how the car is doing it, being that I don't know the area. And sometimes I feel that the car does a lot better job because I'm just so unsure. I'd be going super slow trying to figure out where I'm at. Okay, this is definitely an interesting left here. It's being very cautious, making sure nobody's coming that way. That was handled perfectly. Now we're gonna stop, and there's about 5 cars that we need to wait for to our right. We're waiting very comfortably for them, and there should be a... Alright, we should be able to go now. So comfortability on today's drive so far is like 9.7 out of 10. The only uncomfortable moments I've had have been at yellow lights. Other than that, waiting for cross traffic to come by has got to be one of the biggest improvements I've seen overall in version 12, period. Not just this build of version 12, but overall, waiting for cross traffic on version 11 was horrible for me. I watched other people not have an issue with it online. It was usually always out in California, but I had a horrible time with it. The car would always want to go when there was people coming. I had a lot of safety critical disengagements where it was trying to pull out and there was people coming. I can once again count on one hand how many times that's happened with version 12. It does an outstanding job patiently waiting, and sometimes it waits a long time for people to pass. And I like that when I'm driving, there were some times that I might pull out and go a little bit sooner, but with the car driving itself, it's very comfortable when it waits until you know that you've got a clear path. Keeping my eye out for the little downward pointing arrow in the top right hand corner of the screen. If you know what that means, it means that there is a software update available. And I know right now, okay, we were a little bit too far off the right hand side of the road there. We did dip a wheel off into the grass a little bit. Not a big deal, but it shouldn't do that. But yeah, that little downward arrow up in the right hand corner means there is a software update available, and we are currently waiting on 12.3.3 to come to the car, and I'm super excited for that because it's way easier to say. So it looks like we are getting ready to go onto the highway for a little bit, probably a little bit longer than I wanted to. We'll see if it switches over to the other software stack, and if it does, it's not a big deal. We'll see how it does. Seems like maybe anytime there's a speed limit above 55, it switches over. Can't say that for sure, but it's kind of what I'm gathering so far. So you might see a little bit of that lane hesitation here. Okay, no, it did a good job coming over. Alright, let's see how it does going through this blinking yellow. Okay, did a good job waiting for this car to go. And now we should be good. Yeah, that felt great. There was a car behind me that I could tell really wanted to go through that light too. It always kind of worries me when that's happening, because sometimes when that light turns yellow, the car wants to hit the brakes, and I don't want to get rear-ended. So it did really good there. I probably would have shot out in front of that first car that was coming and went ahead and turned left. But I think the right move is what the car did waiting. A patient person would wait for that other car to come. Alright, I've also noticed that speed limit signs off in the distance, it seems like the car reads them well ahead of time. So like in this case, the car sped up to 45, probably 100 feet before we even got to the 45 mile per hour speed limit sign, which feels really good. And it also kind of keeps people off of your bumper. And so I was wrong about getting on the highway. We're on Route 5 right now, John Tyler Highway. And we are still on version 12 software right now. Car is doing a very comfortable speed. It's kind of fluctuating between 48 and 50, which I think is exactly what a person would do in this area. Did a good job slowing down for this curve that you couldn't really see through, and the light happened to be red on the other side of the curve, so that felt very good. We're about 3 miles away from our destination. So far I've not had any interventions on this drive. Previous drive I had one disengagement just because of the guy who parked his trailer on the side of the road, and honestly the car would have eventually gone around him. It's just one of them things to avoid an awkward situation. Well, to avoid two things. I don't want the guy to see me coming towards him and think that I don't see him, and then also just to avoid the awkwardness of him waving me on for 5 minutes while I'm exaggerating there, 5 minutes, but waving me on for a while I'm just sitting behind him. If you're watching this video and you don't already know, if you own a Tesla in North America, you might be eligible for a free trial of full self-driving. I would definitely go check your email. I think that's how it's being sent out, but as far as I'm tracking, everybody who has a car that's eligible is supposed to get a free trial, so definitely don't miss out on that. This is a pretty incredible thing to see. Alright, let's see this interesting scenario with the bike, but it went ahead and went. It's the same thing I would have done. I've also noticed the car start paying attention to signs that indicate that the speed limit is getting ready to drop. It doesn't always do it, but I would say like 50% of the time, more than that, 80% of the time, when you pass one of those signs, it's like the car starts preemptively slowing down, which is definitely a new behavior. Usually version 11, it would wait until you got to the sign and then it would slow down. But this does seem to be picking up on signs that are warning you that a change is coming up ahead. Alright, so it looks like we're turning right here. We do have some traffic behind us. The car does a good job of keeping its speed up into this turn. That was very comfortable. So the map data says that the speed limit right now is 35. The car is doing anywhere from 40 to... Okay, we're speeding up quite a bit over this hill. Oh, and there's a person right there. Alright, good job offsetting for them. I know the car does a better job around people because half the time they don't even look at me as I'm driving by, versus in version 11 sometimes it would look like you were headed straight towards them. I've got a feeling, I've done this like 3 times today, that the navigation pin that I drop is going to be in a gated neighborhood, and my reasoning for saying that is the next road that we're turning onto is Manor Gate Road, and yeah, when it has gate in the name, I'm thinking there's probably going to be a gate, but we'll see. Going a little bit quick right now, but honestly it feels good. It feels like what the speed limit should be, and it might be what the speed limit is. I'm starting to think that this 35 is wrong. We haven't passed a speed limit sign, and sometimes when you turn onto a new road, it's not correct until you pass a sign. So I'm thinking we might be on to something. Alright, so we're turning left here. This is Manor Gate Road, or Manor Gate Drive. We do have a car turning in behind us, so I hope there's not a gate. Nope, no gate. Doesn't look like it. Alright, we're going to be taking a right up here at this stop sign. Car's coming to a full stop. Should be able to go. Good job. Alright, looks like we're turning into our neighborhood here in a couple hundred feet. It says we are 0.3 miles away from our destination. Overall, that ride was like as close to a 10 out of 10 as you can get. I can't really think of a complaint along the way. If that had been an Uber ride, or if I'd been giving somebody an Uber ride, I don't even think they would know that I wasn't driving. I mean, that was an incredible drive. I don't see how we're more than a year away from Tesla getting its first permits, probably in controlled areas, to do robo-taxis, because this is just incredible. I'd definitely be interested to see their data on interventions per X amount of miles now. I'd imagine it's drastically improved. Alright, so we're at our destination. It's 200 feet up here on the left. I think what the car is doing right now is trying to find out where it wants to park. It looks like we're going to pull over probably up here next to this sewer drain. Awesome. So if that was a ride-share ride, a person can go ahead and get out of the car now and go. So man, that was really cool. Let's go ahead and do another, let's go ahead and set another destination, somewhere totally random. Let's see here. Let's go see, how far away is this? 4.9 miles. Let's see how the car does. Another 15 minutes. Okay, it's actually 7.5 miles, 15 minutes. Pretty much the exact same distance that we just came from. Hopefully we're not going back to the same place. So far, I think we've been driving for about 30-35 minutes, maybe a little bit more. One disengagement, and really no interventions. You know, obviously you could argue that a disengagement is an intervention, but I'm going to use them separately for the purpose of the video. So yeah, one disengagement, 0 interventions so far. Car is doing excellent. Nice and cautious around this person running. Giving this truck in front of us plenty of room, which I like. We're not, you know, right on his bumper. He's driving nice and cautiously through here, and I appreciate that. Sometimes version 11 in situations like this would get really close to somebody, and you know, usually when I'm on full self-driving, I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. I'm kind of just relaxing and doing my thing. But version 12 doesn't do that anymore. Alright, we're making our full stop and we're going. Man, I can't tell you how good it feels when the car comes to a complete stop, traffic passes, and it just goes immediately. I mean, that was just so smooth. There's no way a person could have done that any better than the car just did it. It gets right up to speed now. The speed limit's 45. It went right up to 50. It feels incredible. So yeah, looking at the camera, we've been filming for about 38 minutes now. So when we get to our next destination, we'll about be at an hour. I'll probably go ahead and cut the video there. I might film another one today. I'm planning on driving around pretty much all day. It's Sunday and I don't really have a whole lot going on. So my plan is just to drive around all day and or let the car drive around all day and just see what kind of situations we encounter and how the car does. this might be interesting. You can see we're going to be turning right and then immediately turning left. I'm not sure how many lanes of traffic this has to go across, if any. We do have some roadkill in the road here. I'm hoping that the car avoids that. It should. It does tend to hug the right corner. Alright, I am intervening here. We do need to go, and I'm gonna have to disengage. Yeah, first what I could consider a safety critical disengagement there of the day. There were cars coming up to our left, and we did go. And if we were going and continuing on straight, I wouldn't have intervened. But the plan was to go. We were supposed to turn right and then immediately turn left. And I didn't want to pull out in front of people going quick and then come to an immediate stop in front of them. So that kind of stinks. You know, the video was going great. But yes, first safety critical disengagement of the day. I think everything would have been okay. Alright, actually we got a gated community here, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and make a U-turn. We are going to go ahead and complete this drive. So we're going to have to make an unprotected left-hand turn. There's not really much traffic coming. It could go right now if it wanted to, but I prefer it wait for this car coming up here on the right, which I believe it's going to do. And then we got another one on the left that's going to turn into this neighborhood in front of us, and after they turn, we are clear. Trying to get over into that right turn lane a little bit early. It needs to take this right. Okay, good job. Oh, people. Alright, I disengaged for them. I wasn't sure what they were going to do. So next turn is going to be up here in about 3/4 of a mile. First two destinations we set were almost flawless. This third one had a couple of disengagements back here a minute ago. One of them pulling out into traffic. That's really on, I can count on one hand how many times that's happened on version 12. That was probably the biggest one so far. A couple of seconds ago we disengaged for the bikers who kind of looked like they were going to pull out right in front of us as we were turning right onto this road. Not 100% sure if they were going to or not, and honestly I'd have to go look at it again to even know whether or not they had the right of way or we had the right of way. And also, I'm not sure what the car would have done there. I'm not willing to take that risk to figure out what the car would have done had I not intervened. Okay. Wow, that was really cool. So it's letting the bikers go. We got another biker coming up here. I really want to let him go. Oh man, that was good. All right, in my mind, that makes up for back there. That was really, really good. Wow, cool. Version 11 would have done something not good there. I don't know what it would have done, but it wouldn't have been good, I can tell you that. That was really good and really smooth, and no movement of the wheel or any kind of, for lack of a better term, body language from the car that would have made any of those bikers uncomfortable. It was solidly stopped. It had made its mind up that it was waiting for them to go. That felt awesome. So, you know, moments like when we disengaged a couple of minutes ago for those bikers going through the bike path they can be discouraging, and it did have me thinking there for a minute, like, man, scenarios like that are going to be really hard to handle. Interesting stop sign setup we're going through right now. But then you go and you see situations like that, and it makes you realize that really it just needs a little bit more training and we'll be good. Oh, wow, okay. All right. I didn't even know where we were going there. I thought we were turning right, but nope, it did the right thing. Okay, cool. But yeah, well, obviously I don't want to take away from the disengagement because of the bikers earlier on. That was a really good biker scenario, and restored my faith a little bit. That was good. Now, we did have third disengagement back there too, but that one wasn't safety critical by any means. That was just because we were coming up to a, I don't know what they're called, an arm that you had to like go through a gate to get into the area, and I had my destination, or my reroute was set up to go through that area. So I don't really fault the car there. That was kind of my fault for, or it was kind of GPS's fault. So not really going to count that one, but so two safety critical disengagements, pretty much back to back. But that's pretty much been it for the day. So we're about 2 miles away from our destination now. Our next turn is going to be 0.6 miles on our right up here. I think we may have come through here earlier. So like I said, once we get to this next destination, I'm gonna call this video and or end this video, and probably we'll start another one and just kind of continue driving all over the place. Alright, so we got a blinking light up here. You can see, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. The speed limit sign, okay, we do have a turn coming up here too, so that might have something to do with it. But the car immediately started slowing down, or you could feel it start to slow down. Wow, that was handled awesome. Wow, tight turn with a yield sign, and there was like no hesitation, it just went. But yeah, as soon as we passed that sign warning that the speed limit was getting ready to drop, the car started to drop the speed. And man, followed by just an awesome U-turn around. Yeah, we are headed back to the exact same spot that we were at before, because we passed that house earlier. Oh, we got a turtle on the road. I'm disengaging for him. We weren't going to hit him, but we were close. Turtle in the road. Man, that was a big turtle. So add another disengagement to the list. Didn't need to, but you know, turtles don't move fast, but I didn't want him to jump out in front of me. it'd definitely be interesting into the future to see how the car handles situations like that. I don't know how much data Tesla has or how easy it is for them to pull of turtles being in the road. That might fall under a more general, just obstacles in the road. Probably might not have to train specifically for turtles, but alright, pretty cool neighborhood through here. Speed limit's 25, we're doing exactly 25. We are half a mile away from our destination. Turning left now onto Moonlight Point. Moonlight Point. And our destination is in 2/10 of a mile up here on the left. I got a feeling, I think we're actually coming up to the end of the road. Not really sure. Okay, there's some more houses up here. Alright, and up here on the left is our destination. Let's see what the car does for parking. Looks like it might pull up in this circle and turn around. Okay, looks like we're going to come to a stop here. Alright, I am going to pull up just a little bit so we're not directly in front of this person's house. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits on the video now. Hope you enjoyed. If you got any questions, drop them down below. Overall, I give that whole drive a 9.2 or 9.3 out of 10. Those disengagements near the end definitely brought the score down a little bit because it was going to be like a 9.8. Definitely some really cool stuff throughout the video, really cool encounters. Overall, if you don't have this software, I encourage you getting it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.